Head Start Internship, presentation by Janet Merrill. Hi everyone, I'm Janet Merrill. I live in the middle of Wyoming in a city called Casper. I'm a mom of 6 children, ages 8 to 20. I've been slowly working towards my marriage and family studies degree since my youngest was born. And I'm excited to tell you about my internship for Casper Head Start. Head Start is a nonprofit, federally funded preschool organization for children ages 0 to 5. Enrollment is based on income. My Head Start location served children ages 3 to 5. Arranging my internship proved to be a little challenging since I live in Casper, Wyoming. This is not a very big place, only about 60,000 people, and there aren't any other cities close by, so options were limited. Since I do still have 5 kids in school, I decided to do an internship with school hours for family advocacy positions at the Child Development Center or Head Start. I first called the Child Development Center and was given an internship, only to be told months later that basically they have never had an intern for that position before and it wasn't approved. Next, I called Head Start. They also had never had an intern for family advocacy, but the director decided to give it a try and my internship was approved. I started my internship close to the beginning of the school year. I was able to sit in on enrollment interviews where the family advocates gathered important information from parents and guardians and shared guidelines and information with them. These lasted about 1 hour. I also worked on screenings. Within 45 days of a child's enrollment, their screenings have to be completed. I weighed and measured children and calculated their BMI. I used special equipment to do their vision screenings. Then I recorded their screenings and any requests for follow-up appointments with professionals due to results. Other screenings, such as hearing and lead, were also required but had to be done by the on-staff nurse. I enjoyed being able to learn about the enrollment process and helping to make sure the children are healthy and happy. My next big assignment was to organize our upcoming family workshop about creating healthy bedtime routines. I created a bedtime routine infographic with tips and helpful ideas. Then I organized 4 different stations for the families to rotate through. We had a lullaby station where they sang with props, a storytime station where they snuggled and read books, a bath time station where they played in water and watched rubber ducks, and building a bedtime routine station where they cut out a bedtime routine and glued it together. At the end, my son and I did a puppet show and gave the kids a bag full of items to take home, including a copy of the infographic, storybooks, a mini blanket, a stuffed animal, and a rubber duck. We had a lot of fun. I learned a lot about running a family workshop and found this to be my favorite part of my internship. I was able to travel to an area training for family advocates. There, each location was asked to begin a food pantry. Well, challenge accepted. My next assignment was to set up a food pantry. I learned we could set up a food pantry through our local food bank. Although the application process proved to be difficult and lengthy, our district coordinators have to fill out the application and it is still in the process of being completed. In the meantime, the government went into shutdown and multiple families lost their SNAP benefits. Families were starting to panic and we needed food fast. So I told our director about a helpful organization called the Relief Society. They said I could ask them for food, and by the time I got home from my internship that day, there was a whole pile of food waiting on my front porch. I was able to fill the food pantry the next day, and families were very thankful. It felt good to help families in such a personal way in their time of need. Another task of mine was to compile a list of community resources for the family advocates to use and share. I found multiple different resources and contacted each one to verify their assistance. While I was doing this, I came across a nonprofit organization called the Wyoming Food for Thought Project. They provide bags of food to send home with children on the weekend so they can have food when they're not in school. I was able to help enroll 18 of our children into the program. Since then, once a week, I have been driving to their location and picking up the weekend food bags for these children and delivering them to Head Start. By doing this, I grew confidence in finding useful resources, advocating for those who could benefit from them, and learning I can make a difference in their lives. My internship included advertising to families for community resources. To do so, I created many different kinds of flyers. Some of these flyers I passed out to families, and some of them I hung up around the building. I filled an empty bulletin board with flyers and the list of community resources I had created. Mainly from doing this, I learned how many different kinds of resources our community has to offer and feel better prepared to help others learn about those resources too. This year, my director noticed many families having a difficult time with the transition from early Head Start for 0 to 3-year-olds to our Head Start location for 3 to 5-year-olds. She decided to figure out what was done well and what could be done better to help with the transition to Head Start in the future. She asked me to create a short Head Start evaluation parent questionnaire to have parents fill out anonymously. I included a short staff questionnaire as well to glean ideas from all those involved. My director received a lot of helpful information in return. There were 2 BYU Idaho courses I made the greatest connection with during my internship. One course was Family 430, Family and Community Relations. This class was very helpful in learning how to create an infographic, citing research for handouts, and learning how to gather information about a community. We also learned about how important it is for community organizations to work together, such as how I have been gathering information about my community and have reached out to many different organizations to help support our Head Start families. Another course connection was Family 445, Teaching Family Life Education. In this class, we also created a workshop to help families. Because of this course, I felt confident in creating the family workshop for Head Start and in researching, citing, and presenting valuable information for our families. In this course, I also learned how to create a workshop evaluation, which came in handy when I needed to create a Head Start evaluation for parents and staff. I would highly recommend an internship for family advocacy with Head Start, although I am pretty sure none of you live in Casper, Wyoming. If you do, then you can contact the Head Start director, Jen Messina, to arrange an internship. Of course, Head Start is a federal organization, and there are locations all across the United States. For an internship, you can contact any one of them. Thank you for your time and good luck.